Hello, everyone. I'm Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee, and welcome to our live small business town hall meeting we have every Tuesday at noontime. And today, Election Day. Election Day. Let's make sure we get out and vote for local, state, and federal. Make sure that we're voting as a presidential election. 60-70% of the people have already voted through the process of the online or the mail-in or the in-person with the early voting. And now today I'll be a couple hours casting my vote and asking everybody to do the same thing. And let's make sure we're safe. Safe process. We have elections and we live by the elections, and we go forward from there. So let's make sure that we're safe in the way that we respond to the results today. We're hearing, some agitation coming from a lot of different corners, both sides of the aisle. And we ought to make sure that we are taking care of business, voting, and then making sure that we move on and make sure that we're doing the best we can for the people that we serve. And as elected official and a state elected official, that's what we try to do every day. Today, we want to talk about, two things: the safety issue. I want to just tell you, let's wear a mask, okay? Let me get my masks. I got a couple masks here today. Let's wear our masks. Let's consider that if you go out, you wouldn't go out without your clothes on. And so I would say that right now, it's indecent exposure if you went out without your clothes on. Well, it's indecent exposure if you're not going out with your masks on. And if you're in company that's not wearing that mask, wish them a good day and get the heck out of there. We're not going to open our economy up, and I'm going to be advocating for incremental flexibility in all our businesses. But unless we, consider this the most important thing we can do right now for our economy, we're not going to get there. And if we go out like this, it's indecent exposure. No matter how nice your smile is, it's still indecent exposure. And you're exposing people health-wise, but you're also exposing our economy and our businesses. And we're talking about our small businesses today. You're actually putting more pain on our small businesses by, creating an indecent exposure by not wearing your mask. So wear your masks and make sure that we do that. Second, education. I talk about education at the top of every one of these programs. We got the community conversation tomorrow night. We'll be talking about children and family services tomorrow night, very important issues. But education, we need to make sure that we got our eyes wide open here. And we can't expect our school districts, they got a tough enough job figuring out how to open up safely in a way that's helping our kids learn. But whether you're, and I've said this many times, whether you're middle income, high income, low income, minority, non-minority households, whether you're going to a private school, public school, charter school, mayoral academy, it doesn't matter. All our students, all our boys and girls that live in the state of Rhode Island are losing valuable education hours. And those education hours, we need to figure out a way to make up on those education hours. So what I'm recommending is what I did as a mayor in Cumberland. I opened up my own Mayor's Office of Education, 52 weeks out of the year, helping kids how to read, do math, science, art, music, all the different types of academics that you could imagine. And we've been running that for 13 years in the town of Cumberland, and it's made a big difference in our community in terms of education. We can rally the entire state, all 39 cities and towns, with a format of a municipal education department and start working a 52-week-year calendar to help make up the lost education time that is happening right now. So from March 2020 to March 2021, hundreds of hours of learning time is being lost. And unless you replace that, the data shows that sometimes if you don't intentionally create a strategy to catch the students up on those lost hours, they will carry that beyond into their careers, and it's going to impact their income. And it's going to also impact the economy of our state of Rhode Island. So if you have other ideas of how we can address the need for education, which we have many, but in this particular one, the lost learning time call our office, 222-2371. Email our office at ltgov20 at gmail.com. We'd love to engage in a conversation. Bring it right here, right to one of our town halls or community conversations. Today, because it's election day, we're going to all small businesses today, with all topics of small businesses. And we've been on our tours, our 39 tours, for a small business grant tour. And I can tell you, we're getting some really good responses. Here's some boxing gloves. I'll show that picture. Yes, this is like a sampling of, as I'm going out to the communities, what I'm bringing back. So you're seeing one is I got this giving bear, which I can show you without the mask on over here. All right. And that was on my East Providence tour. And the company that we were at was called Casa. Let me get this right, because I want to make sure I get it right. It was, let's see, Casa. I see a nice giving bear. Let's make sure that we do business with our small businesses out there. And I have it taped right here. It's the Casa Ideal, right in East Providence. Sole proprietor, very concerned about the future. And she's raised her business, 24 years in business, raised her 2 sons as a single mom in that business, provided them college and beyond. And yet now today she's struggling, wondering whether or not she's going to get enough help. She didn't know about the Restore Rhode Island grant. Hopefully she's going to apply for that. Also the boxing gloves here, Jimmy Birchfield, when we were with Mayor Lombardi in North Providence, he said I was a champion for the small business, so he gave me some boxing gloves. I don't know if I'll use them, but maybe I'll have a couple spots, so I might want to use them. So, and then we're in Bristol. What a tour we had down there! But that's the 12 Guns Brewery. We have many of the brewers in Rhode Island right now, but that's just a sampling of the people that we've been visiting. So I think that's enough for me to start off here. Thanks a lot for listening. But let's bring on our coalition. The crew that's been helping out. Plus, I think Mark Dion's going to join us today. I see Laurie and Justin. How do you like my boxing gloves, Laurie?
I like them, and I was just thinking you are a champion. So thanks. That's awesome.
Huh?
I love it.
Huh?
What is it?
I think of that.
With the left, hook with the right. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just got to put the gloves on, right? And I think that we're at that moment in time where we're running out of time on the Restore Rhode Island grants. Yesterday, I sent a letter to the governor, and I think that Ben might just post it quickly, but we sent a letter to the governor, really describing some of the things that are urgent and we need to pay attention to. I think that it's because of the coalition that on our calls, we talked about a handful of things adding on to the letters that we've already sent in advance. But one is to put another $75 million on the table, do it by December 1st, and then have all the businesses that have already received grants, whether they've received one check, a second check, let's get them a third check by Christmas, increase the amount to $50,000, and then also start including the businesses that haven't been included. I mean, we've still got businesses. Right. We fought, right, as a coalition, fought to get the child care on. We had to wait weeks for to get the child care involved. Right now, our dentists, our eye doctors, and other medical offices are just a handful of the businesses that are struggling that are not getting help. And then we talked about simplifying the calculator, and that's what I want to Mark first to kind of talk about. Then I want to go to Chris. No, let's go to Chris first. Chris, why don't you open it up? Give it a little summary. You helped the workers on that letter that we sent to the governor. It is receiving some, and there's other issues in there, 2 or 3 other issues I'll bring up. But, let's get I really do think that I really like having these gloves because it is time that we actually get a little more aggressive because it is time, and it's probably long overdue to a certain degree. But, we can be professional, but let's put the gloves on and let's start really, we're up against the timeline. As we know, you have to get that money out by December 30th. and we're up against a deadline of December 1st for any new application. So go ahead, Chris.
Right.
Thanks for being here, guys.
We can't just stand pat in the corner and just get punched and just keep getting punched and not fight back. And that's what we're doing in the coalition, is that we're fighting back for all of our small businesses, because right now we've just been getting hit too many times with the government mandated shutdowns. But let's be clear, this is a health crisis first and foremost. But what we have to do is balance it where we're not also negatively impacting our economy. The governor recently announced some changes on Friday, limiting social gatherings personally from outdoors. Those things are good. Those are good measures to help reduce the COVID. But we cannot do what other states are doing, which is really shutting down businesses again. We will just go into another tailspin, and then we'll get close to the knockout, as you're alluding to, Lieutenant Governor. So we're hoping that we can continue with these, and everyone needs to wear a mask. Everyone is a part of this, because you're not only affecting the health of others and loved ones, but you're also affecting the health of our small businesses and our economy. So
yes,
it is.
Chris, I've been thinking about this, that term, indecent exposure. You wouldn't go outside without your clothes on, and during this time frame, going out without your mask on, that's indecent exposure, exposing us to health issues, but also exposing the economy to some really, serious challenges.
Exactly. It's pretty simple. Just wear a mask, be distant, and be cognizant and respectful of others. But the coalition, like we said, we are fighting back. The letter that you published, and it was great. It's exactly what we're looking for to really take it to that next step. Again, this federal money runs out by the end of this calendar year, which is less than 2 months. Otherwise, we'd have to give it back to the federal government. Other states don't want to do that, and I know we're waiting on things. I know we have some programs recently announced, but we need to just get more money into the hands of these small businesses. We're doing a good job, but we need to do better than good. We need to really ensure that we're keeping our businesses surviving and thriving, and all the consumers have a part too in making sure that we support local, buy local, and ensure that we're helping out our fellow small businesses owners, the folks that make our community go. So
yes,
I know Laurie has some points on the shop local and buy local, and how that has an effect as well.
Yes, we got the gloves, but we also got the giving bear here. We got to be we got to be sensitive to all the needs out there. So it's not just hitting them with the left, right, but it's also understanding, having a little caring going out there. Laurie, thanks so much for all that you've been doing, to help the small business in the state. Then I'll go to Justin, and then I want Mark to kind of give an overview of, actually he's helping many, many businesses on his own dime, get these grants, and he's got experience about what we need to do to actually make this simpler, and we need to do it quick. But Laurie, please share the information about the shop local and other issues that you're working on.
Well, I would say, we started this as a joint effort. So we're coming at it from all these different angles, but we're each supporting the businesses in different ways. So I think that's so super important. Thinking about the Giving Bear, the shoplocalrhodeisland.com site has a whole gift card component, which was how this started in the first place. It was a Gift It Forward program. So you can go onto Shop Local Rhode Island, and there's an entire category section for gift cards. One of the things that Shop Local is doing now is we're giving, it's a donation site, so you can donate, but we're giving free banner ads to any companies that want to do deliveries within the state. So if you're a business and you're on Shop Local and you want to offer delivery, to your customers, but you need a delivery service that's affordable. If there are delivery services out there, we implore you to please list your business on the site so we can start to allow our small businesses to deliver what you can purchase from them. We have about 1,500 plus companies on the site. It's growing every day. And I think that's happening because of this idea that businesses are getting tightened again. And so they're starting to feel the people not coming in. Businesses are getting a lot of cancellations. So we want to make sure that there is a place where you can go as a Rhode Islander, as a business owner, and as a customer to see what businesses and what goods and services are available. So that's the platform that we deliver as part of the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. So there's something there for everyone.
Yes.
Customers, business owners, delivery service. Let's create this gift giving season as a focused on local.
Yeah, and you go direct to shop local. You can go to rismallbusiness.org, right? And everything is all listed there. And, so I can tell you, Laurie, that, we're out and we're wearing our masks, but we're meeting dozens of businesses every week right now. I got 400 bags of masks to actually give out. And that's my goal, to give out before Thanksgiving. And I think that we're going to hit that. I think we've had 25 communities so far.
Yeah.
Another 14 to go. But when I'm out, I'm asking them, go to that site, register your business.
I just want to
so they're doing that. So, they know.
There's a lag. Sorry.
Yeah, you got a little lag. Go ahead. We can hear you.
I was saying I want to reiterate what Liz always says is the mask is mandatory. You have to wear it, but it has to cover your nose and your mouth, your mouth and your nose. I see so many people like wearing the mask down here or wearing it. And I keep my mouth shut. It's so super important. That's
like half indecent exposure when you only do half of it, right? So, but it's not good. Thanks, Laurie. Justin.
Thank you.
One thing that we're always going to remember is that the first call we had on a conference call with maybe 25 businesses, and you responded and got in touch with me. And could you ever imagine that we would have been able to organize this much and have such a voice in such a short period of time when we were talking about that, Justin?
No, I say it all the time too. It's just so crazy, still logging into these calls as much as we can, and everybody's still doing their part. And we took something from here, and now we've brought it up here, and we just continue to keep building it every day. The more me, Chris, Laurie, and you, we kind of do a lot of back scene stuff outside of this, and it just seems like it just keeps growing greatly. But yeah, I think Chris and Laurie, they kind of hit the nail on the head with bringing it home where we got to hit them with a 1-2 every once in a while, and and not get knocked down. I think a lot of small businesses are scared right now, kind of like they were in March. It was that certain uncertainty. They didn't know what the next step was going to be, and now with some of the changes that might stroll along this week, even take a state. Look at today is voting day, and there's small businesses all over the state that are boarding up windows. Like it goes to show the fear that a lot of small businesses have just in general to protect what they have. And I think the more we can, bring light and shed light and, help these guys, the better off we'll be. I spent the last week or so doing some stuff. I know we've always all talked about, like this COVID safe environment and being able to actually advertise that. And I've stayed pretty true to helping all the businesses with, different COVID resources. But I'm trying to help them put their plan together so that they're able to market that, whether it be a sticker on the door, something on their countertop, just letting people know, hey, this is step A, B, and C. Even though the state says I'm supposed to be doing this, this is what I'm doing, and this is how I'm doing it, to ensure that level of confidence to come in and keep, purchasing from the facility, encouraging them to, if they didn't do curbside pickup and it's just, 2 people in the shop, put a sign outside, call me and just run outside and bring them stuff. You just want to make people feel comfortable and kind of adapt to the times. And, if that's something you need help with, that's where I come into play. And I've been doing a lot of that stuff and, continue to do it.
Well, I know, Justin, you have, and you stepped up, when DCYF needed something, some masks and some plastic guards and as well as the training guards at our training school and beyond that, in East Providence and other places. I know with the fire departments, you've been just a champion, and as Chris and Laurie has as well. So thank you so much for that. That leadership is good. So yeah. So maybe Jimmy Birchfield will give you a set of these for everybody, because you guys are fighting hard. And Mark Dion has been doing that. Mark has been working with our advocacy council. That's kind of like the platform or the foundation that we've been using, Mark, to do all this work, is because the lieutenant governor, and as I sit as lieutenant governor, I chair the Small Business Advocacy Council. On the first day I showed up back in 2015, early 2015, after getting elected.
Anyone else lose him?
I lost him. He's gone.
Yeah. Well, I'll set it up by saying someone that can
be able to.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, LG, we're having a little bit of problem with your internet.
Yeah, am I?
You're breaking
My
up.
what?
Your Wi-Fi.
I am breaking up.
Yeah.
My Wi-Fi.
all right.
Oh my God. All right, let me see if I can do something with that.
All right. So
Chris, run the panel.
So I'll set this up by saying the person that gives the most uppercuts and punches in our coalition calls is Mark Dion. So he definitely will have some things to say that we want to share when it comes to the application process and a few other things. Someone that's been on the advocacy council that Lieutenant Governor alluded to earlier. Mark?
Gee, and I always thought I was rather nonviolent and conservative,
Chris is
My
really
God.
liking this metaphor of the boxing thing.
To start off with, you and the governor have used the phrase indecent exposure. I have a phrase with regards to the Restore Rhode Island program, and I call it negligent indifference. I've worked with people, numerous companies on the EIDL loan program and the PPP loan program, and I was very excited when the governor and the state came out with the Restore Rhode Island grant program, and I started assisting companies with that. And I found that it was almost more cumbersome than all these federal programs that existed out there. And after having dealt with about 40 to 50 companies, various different companies ranging from restaurants to office supply, you name it, I've touched it. I could never figure out how they calculated how much money was going to be granted. And now in the third iteration of Restore Rhode Island, I played around with this calculator enough times that, and I've dealt with enough companies, small, medium, and large. Basically, there are two algorithms that are used to determine what your grant eligibility is. Number one, you punch in your NACIS code, which is your industry classification code, and then your number of employees, and the calculator says, okay, so you're eligible for this amount of money. Before you've even identified what your revenues, what your loss factor is. I mean, you need to have at least a minimum of 30% loss ratio in order to qualify. But the classification and number of employees determine what your grant eligibility amounts are. So you could be a $2 million company, and if you have 3 employees and your NACIS code puts you in a category of not severely impacted, you're not going to get a lot of money in the grant, regardless of whether or not you have $50,000, $60,000 worth of expenses to crunch in there. So I've worked with numerous companies, and we've tried to crunch this however we possibly can in order to get the highest amount of eligible grant amounts that are available. And we keep coming back to those two algorithms. How you're classified based upon your NACIS code, which I don't know how they classify a particular type of business, but you say you're this type of business and it says, well, you're not severely impacted. I don't know how they know you're not severely impacted. and then the number of employees. So you could have 4 employees, a huge payroll, and you would not qualify for as much money as a company that had 10 employees that was paying minimum wage. Now, needless to say, the expenses for the 4-employee company might be extremely significant. The payroll expenses for the 10-employee company that's paying minimum wage would not be. But those numbers aren't used to calculate how much you're eligible for in a grant. It's just the number of employees.
Yeah, Mark. And so that, you've been echoing that, for a few weeks. So you just want people that are watching this, by the way, share this out, because we need all the small businesses to really push hard right now, and the general public for these changes, because what Mark's saying is so true. We're visiting businesses, Mark, that have high overhead but relatively low number of employees in some circumstances. And so they're getting a minimum amount, that they got these extraordinary expenses that they need to cover. So our letter that went to the governor, because of the coalition and the work that we've been doing out visiting, we said, one is, start weighing overhead as heavily as you would number of employees. And so that you are taking into consideration the overhead, where people are spending thousands of dollars a month, but they may have a small amount of employees, but they still are providing a great economy to the, services to the area. And the other one is let's just get rid of the, I just mentioned at the top of the show, we got dentists and eye doctors and other medical offices not eligible for the Restore Rhode Island grant, just like the child care wasn't. Let's just get through the nonsense. Let's just open it up to all our businesses. If they qualify under the 30% loss of revenue and they can show this, let's just open it up. This is the time to open it up. Thanks, Senator De Palma, for being here. Let's just open it up. So those two things are on that letter, and I'll be discussing one more thing that's on the letter besides what I talked. But Mark, give us your closing argument why we should change the calculator so that people are giving a fair amount of grant dollars proportionate to their expenses that they have, that they incur.
Because if you can prove that you've been damaged and that you have major expenses to the tune of $30,000, it doesn't make any difference how many employees you have. If you experience damage, you should be able to justify the damage. Period. Right now, that's not the way that it's calculated. And when you fill out those two blanks for the algorithms, it says you're eligible for $9,000. All the expenses that you put into the calculator only bring you up to the $9,000. You'll never exceed it. My final point is, when they revamped this the last time, they said that previous grant recipients could get a second grant and they only had to fill out a one-page application. I've got companies that are getting rejected on the one page and have to go through the entire grant process all over again. And at the same point in time, I have at least a dozen companies that received initial grants, never got notified by Commerce Corp that there was an opportunity to apply for a second grant. So those are my two things.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. And that was in there because difference. Yeah, I mean, why aren't we making direct contact to the 1,500 businesses? Last Tuesday, only 30% had. I was in conversations yesterday with a business that received $15,000 and was unaware that they could double it up. No contact has been given yet. I've been told that they have been reaching out. I don't think they have to the degree they need to, because that's how you're going to get more of those dollars out. But Mark, thank you so much for your consistent leadership on the small business issues all the time that I've been Lieutenant Governor, and stepping up in a big way right now. So thanks for that, Mark. Chris, yeah, go ahead, Mark. I want to get to these other businesses though, because we got them on there. But you got one more thing to say, Mark? You never shy on words.
No, I'm pretty done. I think that your efforts to potentially get the additional $75 million is critical. And I am just amazed with the state. They can't give away $50 million because nobody even knows that it's there. And, you know, your office has done, and the coalition has done a lion's work in terms of notifying small businesses. But I still come across small businesses, even as recently as yesterday, that didn't even know.
Absolutely, Mark. And so that, and you know, that we're not hitting the number of people. I'll tell you next week, and I stay on here for a couple of minutes, everybody out there. But next week, I want to flash up the picture that I was in Central Falls on Saturday with some. They were opening up a landing with the Blackstone River Tourism. I don't know if you have that sign, Ben, of the Central Falls, but put it up if you do. But I just want to let you know, Mark, we are starting to partner in with municipal leaders that take the lead. There we are, I think in Central Falls. I think it's going to come up. There we are. What a great sign they put up in Central Falls. That was based on a project on the landing there with Louis Yip and his partner Sonny have developed a property, and then they were able to get this donated so that Central Falls that's going to be lit all the time, 24 hours a day. It's the comeback city, and Mayor Diosa led the charge there, is, you know, bringing them back from bankruptcy to the point where they're doing well. But my point is, we're partnering in with Mayor Diosa and I believe Mayor-elect Maria Rivera, and we're going to be doing direct contact to 350 businesses this week. Our office is actually putting our staff in, partnering in with the mayor and the council president Rivera, and we're going to make direct contact to 350 businesses. Mark, I'm going to tell you that the majority of them do not know about the grant. At this meeting, I met with an owner who has two restaurants, one in North Providence, one on the border of Central Falls and Pawtucket, and I visited them late that evening. They did not know about the grants. So we're leaving so much on the table because we're not doing the outreach that we need. And it would be nice if the governor just once would say, restore Rhode Island. We need to get those grants out, and we need to, you know, and lead the charge on that. That hasn't happened. We're gonna take any community out there. This is a message to any municipal leader out there, partnering in with their local chamber or the local business association. We'll deploy our staff to assist an all-out effort in any community. Millions and millions of dollars is available, and hundreds of thousands of dollars could go into communities that are really aggressive on it. So that's my little pitch, but thank you for bringing up all the points that were in the letter, Mark. You know, we've gone over them, so hopefully we can make an impression. Chris, I'll give you last word on this, and then I'll go to Laurie and then to Justin.
Yeah, no, I think everyone said it well. We have to get this $50 million out. I mean, Mark just said, we were $50 million of free money and we're still having trouble getting out. Well, we have to get the word out. I mean, the Lieutenant Governor, you and your team have done a fabulous job going door to door, visiting these towns and small businesses to let them know, which is why we elected you as an elected official. And all of us, Mark, Justin, Laurie, myself, and the many others that aren't on this call, we're volunteering our time because this is so critical to ensure that our small businesses stay viable during this economic disaster. Number one, it's a health, priority, and we wear your masks, but please communicate to other small business owners to apply for the Restore RI grant. We want to give Commerce credit. They streamlined and they doubled the amount of monies that you can get. So please go online, share it with your friends, let them know if they're not aware to apply for the grant right away. They really did a better job of where it started so that now you can get that money. We need to get that $50 million out so then we can then focus on the next bullet in the Lieutenant Governor's letter of that $75 million. So spread the word, wear your masks, and stay safe.
Thanks, Chris. Laurie, 10 seconds. Justin, 10 seconds.
Easy. Shop local, shop local, shop local. Keep our businesses going and do the best we can to support the businesses. I mean, they're doing curbside, they're doing delivery. Shop local.
Shop local. Justin, get your 10 seconds in.
You're gonna have to bring those gloves when you come here on the 28th.
That's
so
great. I like that idea. We'll get.
I feel like that's what they're missing
on this. This would be great. But yes, we're out there fighting, and I'll tell you,
Yeah.
get the 75 million on the table by December 1st, and
Yeah.
then do what Mark was just suggesting, which is to notify everybody who's received 1 or 2 checks that there's a third check for them. Maybe just automatically, if you received a check or a second check, you automatically get a check. You'll get that by Christmas, and that will help these small businesses put another 75 million into the network if we can get the first 50 million out. So thank you to everybody. I appreciate it. We're going to bring a couple businesses on that we hopefully
Thanks, guys.
they're still hanging around here, and we can bring on. I got Laurie McKenna, right? McNamara, right? Laurie's on. Laurie, thank you for being here. The East Providence Chamber, what a host you were with Mayor De Silva. I see Judy here as well as part of the theater groups that we want to talk about. But Laurie, why don't we just go with you first here? Tell us about East Providence and what we're doing, and just give a little overview of the places we were able to visit with you last week with the mayor. You got to unmute yourself though, Laurie. Just unmute yourself, Laurie. Laurie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. You're good.
Was having a little computer issue there for
Yes.
a moment. Oh, good. Okay. So thank you for all the work that you're doing in your office. The Lieutenant Governor and I did a walkthrough last Thursday in East Providence in the pouring rain, and surprised a few businesses. Others were expecting us. Mayor De Silva also joined us, and it was a great opportunity to just let them know that people are listening. People at the government level, local as well as state level. We hear the small businesses and we know their frustrations, and we want to be able to help them and make things easier for them. There is money available to them. It's a challenge though. You've got to do the work to get it. So that's where we step in, and we can help people walk through the process as much as possible. But that was the walkthrough that we did last Thursday, which was a great opportunity just to say hello to folks.
Yeah, Laura. So thank you for that, and it was great to have the chamber there. And that's not the first time that I've been in East Providence with you. You're doing the work of many, and you're by yourself in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah, I want to explain that chambers of commerce are not government agencies. We're nonprofit, membership-based organizations, and we're supported by membership dues. So Commerce RI has commerce in it, and so does the Chamber of Commerce, but we're not related. We don't receive funding from them. We work with them as a courtesy to the business community and to the state. However, we have no other connection as far as receiving funding from them, but we have stepped up. There's 12 chambers in Rhode Island. Ours is considered a regional chamber. We cover Barrington, East Providence, Seekonk, and Rehoboth. So I've got Massachusetts to deal with as well.
Yeah, and Laura, I think that, again, we've been advocating for these dollars, these federal dollars that were, supplied to the state of Rhode Island, the 1.25 billion, and then a portion of those dollars could help our small businesses with grants. And then I've been advocating that, that the chambers and the business associations who are stepping up in a way that they don't have the resources to do this extraordinary work that's being asked of them. So hopefully, you're going to see some revenue on the Restore Rhode Island grant with nonprofits now with a C3, C6s. But we're basically saying open it up to every nonprofit, for God's sakes. We got a lot of money that we can get out there. But speak to that a little bit, Laura. The fact that this is above and beyond what you normally can do in the capacity of an office without more resources helping you.
Yeah, definitely. We started back in I would say April, when they first started giving out the PPE supplies. The chambers were asked to help distribute them to the community. My office gave out over 10,000 masks. We have disinfectant that we've been giving out, and we have to coordinate all of that with the business community, get the word out, make the arrangements for them to get picked up, make sure everybody gets their allocation, keep track of the information, make sure the delivery arrives on time, all those logistics involved in that. And we were able to do it, but it was a challenge, and we were not compensated for that.
Yeah, and Laura, I think that's the point. The dollars that are allocated to the state to help our economy and to help those who have been impacted negatively by our economy, in particular the small businesses, which you're working with, the slowness is, and I'll leave you out of the comment of it, but it's so frustrating to me and to members of our small business coalition. We know that our chambers, our business associations are stepping up in a big way. And the state has the funds to help offset and even allow you to put even more boots on the ground, which we need right now, because most of our businesses that we visited that day, Laura, were not aware that they qualified for a grant.
That's true.
So, right.
And that's because they're involved with their business.
Yes.
They're focused on their business, and they think, well, there's nothing in it for me. I'm just going to keep doing what I do until either they go under or they just hang in there. The chambers move at the speed of business, and it's frustrating for us to be able to tell people these things are available to them, and then just everything gets bogged down with the businesses because they want to know the answers right away. And unfortunately, that's not the situation, and probably through no fault of anyone's, other than we're just dealing with these things on a daily basis as they come up.
Yeah. So, Laura, that's why, we're offering our office's staffing to any municipal leader and a chamber combination that's willing to take the lead in that community. We're willing to put staff hours into helping East Providence or any of the communities that you're working with, as long as a municipal leader steps up, like I know that Maria Rivera and James DeOso are going to Center Falls. So we're going to pilot that to 350 businesses, and then we'll get the word out, and hopefully we'll be able to partner in with you and one or more of the communities that you serve. So thank you so much for your leadership. I wanted to go
and we have a great relationship with the city of Providence too, and they stepped up and came up with their Take It Outside grants in addition to other grants too. So city of East Providence, hats off to you as well.
Yes. So any municipal leader wants to partner with our office, take the lead, partner in with their local business association or chamber. We're going to do a pilot in Center Falls Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. We expect to make 350 contacts to the businesses and get hundreds of thousands of dollars out into that Center Falls community. We're willing to do it in any community. I wanted to go to Dave Morin right now, and then I wanted to go to Hugo with his crew there because they got a very important message. But Dave, we talked yesterday. One is, which I want you to speak to, is the phone call you got on Sunday that your tennis facility was being asked to close to keep us safe. Yet, the notice came late, and was there an offer to help you financially because you were going to shut down your business to keep us safe, Dave?
No, unfortunately, no. I mean, on Sunday afternoon, very slow time here at the facility, and it came into just one of my staff people. So I mean, there was no management staff in the building at the time. So again, it came in. We were able to just get a notice, and we got to close Monday morning. By the time we got it, was 6 o'clock at night, really kind of with the management staff. So we opened in the morning and then made notice to all of our tennis members, which on a Monday will be 300 or 400 people that we had to contact, and then again closed down for one full week. Very trying time.
Yeah. So Dave's got a tennis facility and a multi fitness center in Cumberland, my hometown. I played a lot of tennis there years ago. I was talking to my sister-in-law Denise today, Dave, and she was telling me she got the call. She wanted to play. She was scheduled to play a couple times of tennis this week, and so. But that's important for your message. There is, lack of notice, kind of pulling it out of the air, and then I think that if we're going to get faced with a reversal, which I'm not advocating, I think that we should be able to figure out a way to keep the, not to be indecently exposed, wear the mask. And I think that we can kind of incrementally ratchet up and increase the activity in our businesses as opposed to rolling them back. But, the governor's got, especially the restaurant industry, very, very concerned right now that something's going to be announced on Thursday where maybe they're going to end up serving less. But my point is, if we're going to impact your business to keep us safe, Dave, if that's the call, then we should be using that part of those federal dollars to at least help you in some way financially. I
agree with you there. I agree.
Yeah.
And again, as you said earlier, I didn't know we were eligible for that additional money. With the Rhode Island Commerce.
Yes.
I did get a grant, and then with our conversation yesterday, you told me to apply, which I did. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, well, keep me posted on that, Dave. But you're not alone, and it's been a week. And last week I did ask Commerce to call everybody up that had received the grant, and let them know that they qualify for another. That's the way that they could have got $10 to $12 million out the door really, really fast. And so if you haven't already, Dave, join the Rhode Island, the Small Business Coalition that we set up, where we've got over 3,000 businesses already. And every time I get a chance, go to rismallbusiness.org, sign up your business. And yes, I think that we need to make sure that we're compensating the businesses that we're asking to close to keep us safe. That's only fair. You're going to be impacted. Your business is going to be impacted this week in a negative way. And it's like having 7 snow days in a row, Dave.
That's for sure.
When I was running our health club in Woonsocket, and if it snowed, it was like, oh my God, I got 1 out of the 30 days in the month, I got no revenue. So how am I going to pay the electric bill? So I think that it's only fair that we start thinking that way. And if our coalition creates some energy around that, and that'll resonate, because there's still over $450 million that has been not allocated so far of that 1.25 billion. We're running on the December 30th deadline, Dave, and there's no reason that if we're going to impact businesses right now in a negative way, and that's why I want to talk to Hugo right now, the last 10 minutes of our program. I want you to listen in here with his crew. But if we're going to negatively impact, this is the way I've said it back in March and April. If we're making moves and decisions to impact businesses by either shutting them down or reducing their service to keep us safe, then it's only right that we use those federal dollars to at least offset some of that pain that you're receiving, Dave, and all the other, at this point, the indoor sporting facilities, right? So get it. You've been very involved, Dave, I know, with all the local stuff. So join in that coalition, and we'll keep you in touch, and let us know, when you get that check, because if we get another 75 million in, and I'm saying this to everybody that's listening and that's on the panel, but also all the people, the thousands of people that are going to be listening to this program, we put another 75 million in the mix by December 1st, and then we get a check to everybody. David's got 1 check. He's going to get another check. He could get a 3rd check. That's how you're going to help. That would put $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 into the pockets of these small businesses that in many ways, we're asking them to curtail their business activity to keep us safe. It only makes sense to me. Anyways, Dave, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Hugo, another.
How's it going, LT?
We're doing good, and I'm glad that we are getting to your issues, which are So just give us a quick overview, and then hopefully we can get to we'll get to everybody else that you brought into the call. But let me just give us an overview of your business first, and then I want to talk about the HOT program and how and also the Take It Outside program that has impacted some businesses in a positive way, but has not really helped you or the group of dance studios that you got going on, the dance programs that you have going on. Give a little quick overview of what your business is, and then let's get into the details of why we want to get you a stage down in the South County on a regional strategy. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having us on the show. So my wife and I own the Talent Factory. We've been in business for 17 years. We're part of a really great community of performing arts centers across Rhode Island. And initially, we started planning with the Take It Outside program to build a stage. We've been impacted to the point where we can't have performances. It's a big part of our business. It's a big part of a lot of local business. There's performances that we have along with a lot of other companies. They really bring in a lot of revenue. They generate a lot of revenue in the restaurant industry, the hotel industry. It's not just teaching dance. We don't just teach dance. We do a lot more than that. We do a lot more for the community. We do a lot more for the state and for all the local businesses. So sidelining our performances since March of last year, we've been completely black. Our theaters have been completely black. We haven't been able to hold a performance for most of us. I would probably say for all of us in the performing arts industry, our summers carry our June show, our May and June show carry our summer. Without that, we don't have money for rent. We don't have money to pay the bills. We don't have money until September when enrollment comes in. And right now, the public fear of the COVID-19 virus, we didn't have a great September. We're not having a great fall season. So revenue's down across the board, enrollment's down across the board. and we can't have performances. So with that said, we're trying to build this initiative to take it outside. Take It Outside program kind of came and went for us. We didn't meet the qualifications, or we just didn't get the grant. But now we see that there's a new grant on the table now with the Heart Recovery Program, which could be great for us. Now we're planning on taking this to a much bigger step now. We want to take this pop-up stage that we want to build and take it to all the communities in Rhode Island. So it's not just for South County anymore. We want to move this along throughout as many areas of Rhode Island and use state parks, use whatever land we can pop this stage on, and let all dance studios, all performing arts centers, all youth theater programs, martial art programs, you name it. If it's a performing arts program, use the stage. Let the state pay for it, use the grant money, and let's get people back in seats, obviously socially distanced and, with the rules that we have implemented right now. But let's sell tickets. Let's get food trucks out there.
Yeah.
And let's make some money, because we need to make some money right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Jimmy Birchfield would agree with you, the guy that gave me these gloves. He's got events too. All these events are part of our economy, and they're not just there's no bad art, there's no bad events, and yet we're kind of like picking winners and losers here. Why don't you just introduce, so that the three people that you got here today, we got JoAnn, we got Adam, and Judy, could just kind of introduce, give us a 1-minute overview of their business, and then tell us what this idea is that you have that that I've indicated to you that I want to support. But maybe we start with Judy first, go with Judy, and then JoAnn and Adam. Okay?
Well, I'll definitely let them jump in and explain what they do in their businesses. But I think it's great for everybody. Let's go for it.
Okay, thank you very much. Ours is JDP Theater Co. It's in East Providence, and the three of us co-founded the company a couple of years ago. This was supposed to be our year to build, and it's been our year to just crash, because we have been slammed financially. We had a show ready to perform. We had ended up having to not perform that, to the disappointment of everybody. We've done other activities through the summer and more recently, and paid very, very careful attention to all of the rules and regulations about keeping people safe. But we lost money on our spring show. We lost money on the show that was going to be in September. So we're really having a great deal of difficulty. The problem with us is when we apply for any kind of grant funding, our employee numbers are extremely low, as in barely non-existent, because most of us are volunteers. So thanks to Mark, now I understand why we don't get any money. It's been very frustrating in a number of ways. I'll keep it short. Very frustrating in a number of ways. We've applied for a number of different grants. The application process in general is absolutely horrific, very difficult to follow. The money that we have been granted for a couple of them, we have not yet received. And otherwise, the applications are just extremely ridiculous to try to complete. So we're absolutely getting on the new one, this newest one, and we'll see what happens with that. But we need all the help we can get so that we can be prepared to, again, continue to build. We serve a population that is anywhere from 6 to 25, and we provide really high quality, very affordable private classes, lessons, auditions, shows, including ASL classes, page to stage work, just a wide variety of involvement in theater. So any other questions I'm happy to answer. Hugo, I think I might be talking to you pretty soon.
I would love that.
Thanks.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Excellent. I'll find you.
JoAnn, just give a quick overview, and then Adam, and then I want to talk specifically about the Heart program and how we can improve that and really advocate for what this coalition or this regional strategy is talking about. I think Laura's going to be interested now that she hears Judy's from East Providence. That's an important piece. But JoAnn, please give us a little overview.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, everybody. My name is JoAnn Fontaine, and I own High Steppin Dance Academy. I'm going into my 25th season. And as well as Hugo in the Talent Factory, I'm in that same boat when it comes to our performances. Our performances carry us straight through our summer and get ready for our following season. So I am all on board to help and do anything to try and get this to happen. I think these kids need to be on stage, as well as parents seeing the kids' growth in what we do, whether it's acting, dancing, again, karate. The parents can't come in. They're not allowed to come into the studios. So having them perform on stage helps
Thanks, JoAnn.
everybody.
Adam, give us a quick overview, and then I wait a couple more minutes here, and I'm on about 2% of battery right now, so I'd be very interested to see what happens here. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead, please.
I'm Adam Ramsey, the owner of Advanced Production Design. I'm just a service provider in the industry, so we work a lot with, all the folks on this call, and then, many others in the industry, whether it be with designers or equipment, et cetera. I think it's just important to highlight that our industry, arts, culture, and tourism, has suffered a significant loss this year. So the last thing that we really need is to spend more money that we don't have to pivot our performances and events. So creating a program like what Hugo's proposed, where the grant can cover the equipment and all the arts and performance groups can come together as a community with free access to the materials and space, gives everyone a fighting chance and some income this year. There's like 200 entertainment and performance and dance companies in the area, all looking for a solution to bring their art back to the community, and a program like this affords them that opportunity in ways that I can't really explain.
That. That leads us right into what, I was talking to Hugo about these portable stages. I first experienced actually when I was visiting our sister city, Portugal, and put two large orchestras on the stage at the same time. They're very practical in the way that they can be used in many different ways. So, Hugo, the program that we're talking about now is this hotel and art program.
Right.
I don't understand why we've got a deadline between November 2nd and November 9th to put the application in. And as we just heard earlier in the call, that application wasn't up as of yesterday. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's still not up as of now either. There are some stipulations in the grant that we're still unsure of. I know there's some language about owning your performance space, being a property owner. There's some language about over 20% of your property being used for performance spaces. Now, for us, we are fortunate that our property, we have 7,500 square feet in North Kingstown, and we do use it for performance space. So I think we do fall into that criteria, but I think a lot of studios and a lot of performing arts centers are going to fall short on that. And I'm not sure why that's in
this is part of, you heard the frustration from some of the coalition members earlier in the call about creating this flexibility and this real urgency to get the dollars out in a way that helps as many people as we can. So it's almost like and it's really late in the game to be so restrictive and picking winners and losers the way that we are. You did apply for a stage strategy for South County, or yourself, where the Providence Ballet was able to get that, right, $200,000 out of the Take It Outside plan. We really need to spread this. The theme of our office has been the number 39, because it's 39 cities and towns, and every one of them is important. And yet we kind of take a perspective here where we're picking winners and losers. That hotel money is only for hotels that have 200 or more rooms. There's only a handful of hotels that have 200 or more rooms. A lot of them are focused in our, more of our urban settings in Providence, which is great that they get some funds, but why aren't we figuring out how to distribute the money throughout the state? So those complications, Hugo, we're going to want to hear about, in the next 24 hours, because we're going to want to, arrange a call with you in Commerce, with your group in Commerce to really advocate for the work that you're doing. By the way, it's very commendable what Judy, JoAnn, and Adam were referring to, and yourself, to regionalize a strategy like this to enhance the art programs in the state. So we'll definitely follow up with you, and I'm really happy that you were able at short notice bring on a crew like this. That our business is not unlike Dave's. Dave's in in a lot of ways, he's in the event business as well. I mean, he's the recreation business, big component of our state's economy, and so important to the overall mental health and the fitness of our, the people who live in our state. So I want to thank you all for your leadership here, and we'll get back to each and every one of you. please feel free to give us a call, 222-2371. If you're out there listening and you have a story to tell or a need that is not being met, those dollars are available, and we're going to do everything we can to get them into the pockets of the small business community that needs them. Go ahead, Hugo, last word.
I just want to add one thing. We started the Rhode Island Performing Arts Association page on Facebook, and that's where a lot of studios, martial arts centers, gymnastic studios, youth theater programs, we've all been able to gather our thoughts on that page and spread advice and talk to each other. And we built this coalition on that page that's been really helpful when planning these next grant steps, the steps for the grants. So if anybody's listening, anybody that's not on the page, please join us and let's work on this together.
Okay, everybody, stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up quickly. Like I said, I think I got 1% battery left here on my iPad. Doesn't seem to be charging, but let's make sure that we're supporting our small businesses. And that letter that we sent to the governor of commerce, let's support that. $75 million more into our small business, allocated by December 1st. And we can distribute that to everybody who's already qualified for a check. If they got one check, two checks, give them a third check. And then distribute it regardless of who the business is. We don't need to qualify whether dentists have overhead. They have overhead. We don't have to qualify whether childcare needed it. We know they needed it. It was late that they actually will be able to get it. Just open it up to every one of our small businesses and our nonprofits in the state in a way that's equitable distribution amongst all 39 cities and towns. So I'll leave it at that. I want to just remind everybody that the masks are important and we got to keep them on. And if you wouldn't go outside without clothes on, so you wouldn't go outside, that'd be indecent exposure. I would say, look at, if you go out with your mask, that's indecent exposure right now, impacting our health and impacting our economy in a very negative way. So stay safe. We'll be here tomorrow night on the community conversation at 7 o'clock. If you need to talk to us, 222-2371, call our office, share out this program. And if you need to email us, ltgov20@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thanks to every one of the businesses that is providing the leadership that we need right now in the state of Rhode Island to protect our economy and to keep us safe. Have a good day. Go and vote.